ETC APEC accredited national assessor and professional interviewer. Let's give it up for our first technical speaker, Engineer Florigo C. Varona.
Thank you for that nice introduction. May I share my presentation? Okay. Can you see now my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me also? Okay, I forgot to include the sound. I'll stop sharing first and then include the sound. Okay. Okay, so my topic is about project estimating and costing, but this time we'll be using BIM or the Building Information Model. Okay, so I've been introduced already. So I'll come up first with an introduction and then discuss about BIM from 4D up to 7D in relation to the project basis. Then after that, I'll be discussing about estimate spaces in project life cycle. So we can see the relationship of BIM in relation to the estimate spaces. Then the last one will be an electrical estimates demo using BIM. Actually, we are doing this with a workshop, but since this is purely lecture, then what we will do is just to have a demonstration. Okay, just to start, I'll I'll show you a video which I have conducted at PCA in 2018 and 2019 about project estimating and costing. This is at the time face-to-face, wherein we have lectures and also workshop. Okay, so those are just overview. If we have a face-to-face, then maybe we can still have a workshop for electrical estimating and costing. I have been actually conducting this at the IAEE since 2001 up to, I think, 2016 or 2017. Okay, so this is part of the master class construction program management, the project estimating and costing, separated into the vertical construction, horizontal, and industrial. And so if we will notice this project estimating and costing for vertical construction is utilizes the BIM technology, and it actually has a lot of benefit using the BIM. We will discuss that in details as we go on. Now, we have to change our perspective about estimating. Normally, others will say that estimating is just the work of the estimator. Actually, estimating is a continuous process, and so therefore, um, we have to learn estimating from being done in all the stages of the construction. And that will be part of our discussion along the way. And we will be using the BIM on that aspect. Now, I would like to emphasize that quantities in estimating will be the same for all contractors if done accurately. So you see, if we are only referring to one plan, or in this case, one model, if you extract the quantities on that model, that will be the same quantities that you will get. Whether you are contractor A, B, or C, or any contractor, the designer, the project managers will have the same quantities because it is being extracted automatically, and that is using the BIM. So the difference only now is based on your strategy, your construction methodology, and your productivity. So basically, estimating is, we have that in order to, that's part of managing cost. So we have the resource planning, then we do estimating, then come up with a budget based on the estimates that we have when we win the bid, and then come up with a cost control process. Now, what's the difference between cost management and cost control? Well, cost management is concerned with the process of planning and controlling the budget of a project or business, and it includes activities such as planning, estimating, budgeting, financing, funding, managing, and actually cost control is just part of it. And this is being done so that the project can be completed within the approved budget. Now, actually, during the construction program management, Dr. Florigo was actually joking while we are on a break, saying that kadalasan nananalo dahil may pagkakamali. It seems just like a joke, and then those who win the bid will now be sad because why is it that they have the lowest bid? Well, maybe it's a joke, maybe not. Okay, I'll show you again another video. And this is showing the virtual design and construction, which is a model-based design and construction. Okay.
M. Moser designs and delivers workplaces of all kinds. Virtual design and construction is used to achieve great results for our clients. Let's look at how this is done. When we begin a new project, we wish to understand our client's needs thoroughly and gather information. Constructing a 3D model of the site can have several benefits. We can understand aspects of the site that may affect the new design but cannot be seen from plans alone. Moser can share the 3D model from anywhere so everyone involved can understand. We can analyze many things and perform simulations. As Moser designs the new workplace, we help our clients explore ideas and see choices in a more natural way. Moser can integrate the entire team's knowledge and capability into improving the design. What we are really doing is constructing designs virtually. By doing so, we find ways to innovate, to improve on cost savings, and effective use of time. Contractors and trades also use the virtual construction to coordinate the work and achieve higher quality. Builders can see and understand everything just as clearly as the client and the designers. 4D sequencing is used to coordinate step-by-step construction methods virtually before building in reality. Results achieved match perfectly with what was intended. Moser uses virtual design and construction to help our clients achieve superior results by designing and then building virtually before building in reality. Moser, creating workplaces for global business.
We have used this method in our project at the BAU. That was 2018, 2019. And then during the pandemic, we have fully used this method in our project. And we did not stop even during the ECQ time. We still were able to continue our project. We conducted design collaboration and also project management, but that was done virtually. We do also virtual inspection. We come up with a guidelines which were followed on site, of course complying also with the health and safety protocol. Okay, so I would like to show you this this diagram about the cost of change during planning and up to construction. If you will notice, the cost of change during planning, actually, it has no cost, or significantly we do not consider any cost on that. So if we do it virtually, like we come up with virtual design and then virtually construct that, we actually call that the digital twin. Then we are able to resolve all classes, all design issues, all constructability issues, and so on, and maybe some changes that the owner would like to have can be done with a minimal cost, or maybe not no cost at all if we are doing that during the planning and schematic design. However, as we move towards design development, we do detailed engineering, and then we proceed with the construction stage. Once we have already started the construction, then it will be costly to have changes, particularly if we already have in electrical, if we have that installed already, or we already have fabricated the panels and so on, so it will be very costly. So that's why we introduce doing and resolving all the classes, design and constructability issues and changes that the owner would like to undertake during the planning and schematic. Show them the visually the project using a model. So that's how we do it. Okay, this is about cost management, and we will actually discuss only the cost estimating. We will not be discussing about resource planning, cost budgeting, and cost control. Okay. Okay, so in terms of the cost estimating, we need the following input, like environmental factors. So we go to the site to look at the situation, what will be the difficulties and so on. It's really important that we know the environment. And then we have to know also the organizational process, how we will set up our organization. Will we hire local people? Will we bring our people to decide? Do we have to come up with a barracks and so on? And particularly at this point in time, when we have a COVID, that is very costly because there are some protocols, safety and health protocols that we have to comply at the site. And then the scope statement, what exactly is assigned to us, which the owner is willing to pay. Sometimes it's not the entire, it doesn't really mean that when you are given a plan, everything that you see on the plan is part of the things that you have to undertake. You have to look at the scope of work given to you based on your contract. And the next one is the work breakdown structure. So normally we already have a template for that, and we just it becomes a guide for us to fill up what is needed in terms of the work to be undertaken. Then we have the project management plan, wherein we have the necessary schedule, the staffing, and the risk register. Now, I would like to focus discussing about the tools and techniques in the estimates. The first one is what we call the top-down estimating. This is quick, but less accurate, and we need an expert to do this. An expert can do that. Parang ano yan yung sinasabing, yung magbababoy, kahit na hindi pa ikilo yung baboy, alam na kaagad nila kung ilang kilo. So, yung mga expert, pagtingin pa lang sa plano, ganito yung kung ilang palapag yan, saan ilalagay yung transformer, nasaan yung mga pipe chase, and so on, anong mga gagamitin. Halos alam niya na kaagad yung cost. Pero para lang yan sa mga mayroon ng matinding karanasan, mga veterano na. Now, we have what we call the next one is bottom-up estimating. This is slow but more accurate. It's work-based, so you go to the details, but the problem really is that in bidding, we do not have enough time to really go into the details. And so therefore, what happened if we will be using this type of estimating is that it might be possible that we'll not be able to finish the estimating on time. And that we cannot submit our bid. So if you will notice, the one is top-down estimating, you run through it and come up with a quick estimate. Then the other one is bottom-up estimating, wherein you really review everything and then come up with a much more accurate estimate. The other one is parametric estimating, but the accuracy varies depending on the mathematical model. In the parametric estimating, maybe you get the area, or you get how many floors, and you are able to already come up with possible cost based on dimensions, based on the routing. Now, but this one, it needs to be established for a long period of time to really come up with a proven mathematical model. Once you are able to establish the mathematical model, then it will be quicker for you to come up with estimate. Then the other one is the vendor bid analysis. This is slow. Accuracy depends on gaps, and what you do is cost plus. So what you do is farm out some of the works to some specialist or specialty group, have them do the estimates, much more detailed estimates. So and then collect all those estimates, and then you know come up with some additional costs on your part, and then that way you what you do is just integrate all the estimates that you will get from subcontractors. The next one is reserve analysis. This is slow, overstated costs, and what you do is you put some contingency. Normally, this is being done if you're not able to really visit the area. You lack the information, and so therefore you don't have any idea at all on that particular scenario, but you need to really come up with the estimate. So this is being done with some reservation, and you put some contingency cost. The last one technique is using BIM. This is BIM has been introduced way back in 2008 or maybe earlier, but as far as we are concerned, we have been using BIM since 2008, like that. BIM is quick and more accurate but it really depends on the LOD or the level of details, because BIM has some stages like level of details 100 is just a massing. So when we go to 300, it means you're able to come up with a beam based on design already. And then 350, that's for construction drawing already. And then as you go higher into 500, then you will have a much more detailed beam, and you come up with a very accurate estimate on that. Now, the output of this particular cost estimating is the activity cost estimates with supporting details. And then if you think there are some changes along the way, you do some request for change. And then based on the result of your estimate, you update your cost management plan. So that will be the update. Okay, I'll show you the 4D up to 7D beam in the project basis. Now, this is the project basis, as we know, wherein we have 4 stages from the conceptual stage, definition, execution, and close out. These are the major, and you see who are the stakeholders and the focus for it for each stage. Now, first, I would like to introduce to you what is BIM. So I'll show again a video for you to come up with an idea of what is BIM.
The easiest way to explain this to you is that before we used to draw lines on paper. Then we went to drawing lines in a computer. Now we actually put the information on products into the computer so that at the end of the day, when we have a 3D model, it represents not only the physical structure, but all the intelligence about the component parts that go into that structure.
There's really 2 parts to the BIM process. One is the construction of a virtual or digital model. The second half of the BIM process is the addition or loading of information into the model.
BIM is a 3-dimensional computer model, but it has massive amounts of intelligence in it. Every single piece of furniture, every single structure, everything in the building has intelligence to it that then can be used by other disciplines.
Really, most people refer to it as 4 dimensions, and the 4th dimension being something beyond spatial. And that could be time, it could be materials, it could be construction sequencing.
You can integrate the data of how long something should last, and then the owner can access that data and make sure that they do those maintenance tasks to keep the equipment in tip-top shape.
A client or a facility manager is going to have a 3D model that they can use long after the construction process is completed. They'll always have kind of a living, breathing model of their building that can be adapted as their building adapts in the real world as well.
It's all about closer interaction with the client. Really what BIM is allowing us to do is see the end product in real time, real scale, using real accurate information.
Okay, so what is BIM? BIM is a process of constructing a virtual or digital model. So it's not CAD wherein you do drafting. You actually just like building virtually. Then we put information into it, into the geometry. so that the information can be utilized by the designer, by the project managers, by the contractor, by the owner, so that in the end it can be used for them to become more efficient in what they are doing. And okay, I have discussed that. So developer, and then eventually, once we completed the project, it can be used by the facilities manager. Okay, then the BIM can evolve beyond the 3D or geometry, wherein we put the timestamp, the materials needed for a particular object or elements on the model, and then we can also have construction sequence, so we can simulate and solve constructability issue. We can also put up special properties that will be needed in our design, like determining the energy requirement for the area, illumination design, seismic analysis, airflow, balancing, and other pertinent data that we can use along the way in the project, and even until we finish the project, used in the facilities management, and for leasing, and for retrofitting, for renovation, and eventually for upgrading. So it has been stated already, facilities management can use the model long after the construction has been completed, and it allows us to see the end of product or the project in itself in real time, real scale, using real and accurate information. So even before you construct the project physically, you can see already the result on a virtual perspective. So let's have another video about what is BIM to further have an idea about this one.
What is BIM? BIM is a term used to describe a process used by architects, engineers, owners, and contractors to coordinate drawings between disciplines in a three-dimensional environment. It is important to understand that BIM describes the process, and specific software is the tool which enables the process. BIM allows a diversified team to collaborate at a level with an efficiency previously unavailable in the industry. Why did we implement BIM into our practice? As mentioned before, BIM has opened the lines of communication between disciplines in unprecedented ways. Previously, drawings were reviewed and coordinated in a two-dimensional environment based off of printed drawings. Information would then need to be layered and manually verified, whereas now, identifying conflicts between systems is almost instantaneous. By reviewing the designed systems in a virtual model, we can immediately propose alternative solutions to uncoordinated designs. This level of collaboration between team members ensures a high level of coordinated design drawings, thereby reducing the number of questions coming from the field during construction. How is BIM affecting us? BIM has allowed us to resolve issues on paper that would have been missed in the traditional design and review process. We have been able to measure these resolutions in both schedule savings as well as cost savings to the project. It has allowed us to partner with trade contractors during the design process to review and refine constructability issues and details which would formally result in questions from the field. BIM has allowed us to submit fabrication drawings in our design documents, removing the additional step of shop drawing review. It has the potential to shorten municipal review times, as we can instantly generate a three-dimensional image to better tell the story to the reviewer of how systems interact together. Finally, At the end of the project, we're able to turn over an as-built virtual model to the owner and facilities department, which identifies exactly how every system in the building was installed. This is a tremendous tool that can be used for everything from regular maintenance to upgrading and installing future systems. BIM is no longer the future of the design and construction industry. It has become the standard.
Okay, so BIM becomes a standard. Actually, we have now what we call the ISO 19650. This is a standard that is being followed, being practiced in other countries, and but not so much in the Philippines. But eventually, those who are using BIM has to follow standards. Okay, so again, let's come up again with the review of the video one. BIM is a process used by architect, engineers, owners, and contractors. And BIM is used between disciplines for coordination in a 3D environment. So even before doing it physically, we resolved already our classes so that there will be no issues at site. We eliminate RFI and possibly able to resolve already the things that we would like to do. And then BIM allows a diversified team to collaborate efficiently with the open alliance of communication. So this time, since it's first done virtually, we are able to resolve all possible issues. And with BIM, identifying conflicts between systems are almost instantaneous. So it will not really take us so much time discussing already. And when we do the actual construction, then since we do not have any more concerns about classes, about what we call the constructability issues, then it will be more faster. No waiting for RFI or for RFA, because we have done that earlier in time. So we can also have a system review in a virtual model so that we can have alternative solutions if we encounter some problems. And then this level of coordination between team members ensures highly coordinated design drawing and reducing RFI, if not eventually eliminated. So BIM has allowed us to resolve issues on paper, which could have been missed in a traditional review process. So with the BIM, it's really more accurate, and so therefore we are able to construct faster. We resolve issues earlier, and these issues results manifest in savings in schedule as well as cost savings. So finishing the project earlier and coming up with a cost below the expected budget. So we will have some savings. And then BIM allows us to partner trade contractors during design stage to review and define constructability issue. So it means even during the design, the contractor can already come up with their own feedback and tell us that this is better way of doing this. It will be easier. So we resolve the constructability issue. Okay, so BIM allows us to submit fabrication drawing. So if we do construction as production, we can actually come up with prefabricated elements and then in the project, we are more on assembling, because we have it done outside of the project through prefabrication. And then it enables us to submit as-built virtual model to the owner or to the facilities manager for use in the operation and maintenance. It will be useful to the facilities, and as-built BIM can be used in the regular maintenance activities, as well as upgrading and installing future systems. So that's basically the use of BIM. Okay, so the 2D, 3D normally is being used during the conceptual and definition stage. If you use 3D, that will be around massing, and then we have the design model, and then 5D, 4D, 6D during the execution, 7D during the closeout. And we have a lot of activity prior to execution. This is where we do the virtual design and construction to resolve classes and design and constructability issue. So we have what we call the conceptual model, which is used for site analysis and space programming. And then we have the design model, so we can show to our client a visual part of the project. We can do walkthrough, and we already do class detection and deconstructability, of course. Then in the construction model, this is during the execution, we can extract already the material takeoff, the quantity takeoff, the bill of quantities, the bill of materials, and come up with a real-time costing and estimating. That will be through the construction model. And while in the construction stage, we can have the construction planning, the sequencing, the scheduling and simulation. This is the integrated project delivery model. And then along the way, we can come up with a visual report, a value engineering, the save estimate, analysis of the quality, delivery, cost, and safety, the redesign. This is based on the performance model when we have done some performance analysis. And then in the 7D, we can come up with a life cycle management. The COBI is actually the construction operation building information exchange. We even can do energy efficiency and conservation done using the model, the FM model, and eventually for operation and maintenance activities. So this is the entire use of the model. Now I'll again show you another video that will give you a more elaborate illustration about BIM. Okay. Okay, so let's again review what has been shown. Okay, so first, the design model is initialized by the architects through conceptual massing as was shown. Then the next, the conceptual mass becomes the basis for the conceptual model wherein geometries are created. And then afterwards, the geometries is modified applying the computational design. And after the computational design, the energy analysis is conducted considering the sun path. Then facade analysis is done, providing several options considering the glass weight also. The detailed architectural design is then completed. Then the completed architectural design is then shared to the structural designer. A conceptual structural design is then performed starting with columns and then beams and floorings, and then initial structural analysis is done, beams and columns, footings and pilings, foundation walls. The data sets of for plumbing, heating, airflow, or the ducting is then collected and its back design completed, followed by plumbing and electrical design. Then detailed structural design analysis is done and occupancy load optimized. The structural and MEP coordination is initiated wherein conflicts and classes are resolved and fixed. The computational fluid dynamics simulation is done and airflow optimized with spark efficiency increased. Then structural and MEP detailing is done. Now I'll show you the BIM walkthrough, and we use BIM in showing this to the client and resolving issues. So this is basically how it is being done.
Sige, go ahead, read.
Ayan. So, we presented this last Wednesday. This is our first landscape presentation to the team. So, pinakita namin tong model, inikutan namin isa-isa including the pavilions, the gazebos, pati yung mga lighting, tinitingnan talaga nila yan. Pinakita rin namin yung mismong pool, tsaka yung mga naka-reflect na rin, pinakita namin reflected na dito yung mga underwater lighting. Yan. So, yung mga ganong detail kasi gusto rin siyang makita ni client. Tapos, upon checking our model, i-consult nila ngayon to kay lighting consultant, kay landscape, kung meron pa silang gustong pabago. For example, napansin. So, ito naman yung loob ng level 5 namin. So, bale, this is the interior design finishes naman. So, pinapakita namin yung, ang importante sa kanila dito, isang pinaka-importante nila dito is yung sa ceiling. Kung kung maganda ng tingnan yung ceiling nila. Ayan, so for example, may makikita pa tayong piping dito. Pupunahin nila yan.
So, kasama yung client, no? During
yes.
sa mga... Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, kasama si client during walkthrough. Tapos, usually, ang pinaka nagtatanong sa amin ito is yung PM. Kasi sila yung sila yung parang leader dun sa project, sa construction. So, lahat yan, chinecheck ni PM, isa-isa, pinapatingnan sa amin, pinapaikutan.
So that's good. I mean, that's good. Good to hear na kumpleto, no, involved si client during your presentation. Yung iba kasi, yung ibang mga client, binibigay na lang yung responsibility sa mga PM nila or yung sa appointed design team nila. Sa mga ganyan na technical matters. Pero okay, sige.
Isa rin tong napansin ni client, yung mga card readers na to. Before kasi, ang nagamit naming family dito is parang kahon lang, yung pinaka-junction box lang. So, ang gusto talaga nilang makita is yung card reader. So, yan, pati yung mga ganyang simple na fixtures sa electrical, pinapa talaga nila sa amin, pinapalagay sa model para makita nila yung magiging itsura ng card reader natin. Yan, for example, itong mga to. Yung mga parang detail-oriented din sila pagdating sa mga ganong specifics.
Yes, normally kasi pag yung mga owner hindi yung nung wala pang BIM, no? Pag nakikita lang nila sa 2D, hindi nila ma-visualize yung mga location or height placement ng mga small items, no? At
Yes,
least
sir.
ano nyo, na-meet nyo yung objective nyo sa BIM model nyo sa client. Okay, that's good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so those just sample presenting to the client visualization. So even before doing it physically, it can be resolved already virtually. Okay, so I'll show you this one. So this is again the common stages of a project, and we have seen this one, and I think I have discussed this already. And then this is basically 4D is about shape, the geometry. 3D is the shape. 4D is about time, and then 5D is about cost. And then 6D is performance. 7D is about management. Now, in our project, we are using the Autodesk, the BIM 360, and we have been using this in the project, not only for doing the model using Revit, but also we use the BIM 360 docs, the BIM 360 field and build, particularly in this one. If you will notice, the Collaborate Pro is for design collaboration, but for cost management, we are using the build, the BIM 360 build, and then includes also the project management for RFI, submittals, meetings, daily reports, the quality and safety. Okay, that's basically the what we are using, and this being used by PM, by engineer, developer, lead consultant, the subcontractors, main contractors. We have been using that. Okay, so our platform is in the cloud. Okay, so we do it in the cloud so that we can get the information anywhere using a cell phone, an iPad, or a laptop or PC. That will be okay. Then this is the process. We have a central platform that does everything. We are using our own. We come up with our own program, and this is one example in a project being applied like this. This actually on the setup stage, because this is a new project. It has just been set up. Okay, so we can come up with the number of open issues. This one, a lot of delayed tasks because there was a problem at site. So we can even measure delayed documents, and also look at on details about the critical activities that is being done. So we know exactly what's happening. This is the model, the schedule model, actual model, the author model, and the project. Now, I'll go to the estimate phase in a project life cycle. Okay, so let's see about this one. So the PCA president, when he was discussing, this is actually in 2018. This is 2018. He was saying we found innovative solutions to solve the mistakes. This is a continuation of the statement of Dr. Stuar saying na kadalasan na nanalo dahil may pagkakamali. And then Morris was saying, nakakahanap naman tayo ng solusyon, at sinabi nga niya dahil nga doon sa pagkakamali na yon ay nakaisip sila ng mga pamamaraan, but using related technology in order to solve the problem. Okay. Now I have again another video for this one. Okay, so we have been introducing actually the construction as production way back in 1991. That was during the JICA days, wherein we presented the construction and production to project managers coming from 22 countries in the Asia Pacific region. However, at the time, we still don't have the BIM. And with the availability of this BIM, the concept that we have during the time in 1991 become more effective. and it produces a lot of benefit to the client. Okay. Now, so the new way of doing is now shifted to the left. We have a lot of activities being done at first during the conceptual stage and the definition stage, and then as we go to the execution and finishing, we have a smoother activity because normally we do prefabrication. We do it just in time, and it's more assembly on site. So this is now the new way of doing things. It will be cheaper, and of course it's better because you are doing this offsite, the prefabrication, and then faster. So better, cheaper, faster. That's the benefit of using BIM on a project. Now, I'll show you again. So we use the VDC, and then at this point, since we are using the model, we have the digital project management using the common data environment, as I have shown. And basically, this is the third time that I have shown this one, but just to this basically emphasis. And this is what we call the integrated project delivery. Now, okay, then we now have the estimate phases. Now, in the estimate phases, the first phase of estimating is budgetary estimate. This is an owner's quick estimate of the total project cost. So it's done during the conceptual stage. Then we have the programming estimates. It is an estimate of major work item in the project, but this is being done so that we can allocate the cost on a per stage basis. Then we have the schematic estimate. This is a designer's estimate of major work items. And we can only have this one if we already have the plan and the technical specification. Then we go to the preliminary estimate. This is a constructor's estimate of the project, and being used during bidding. And then eventually we have what we call the final estimate and optimum estimate from a bid winner. Estimate that is focused on establishing cost control as well as maximizing profit. We do this during pre-planning. Then the construction estimate is a construction estimate based on the production plan. So since we have done the details, then definitely we can have the production plan. Okay, so this is in relation to the stages: the budgetary estimate, then the programming estimate during the definition stage, including the schematic estimate. And then we have the preliminary cost estimate prior to execution, then the final cost estimate, wherein we use that for establishing cost control and maximizing profit, and then the construction estimate, which is focused on optimizing resources, productivity, and cost savings. So this is about estimates in a nutshell. Now, this time I'll show you a demo of electrical estimate using BIM. Okay, now the first one is we can actually export the the uh, the information from the model to a database. Okay, so this is one example of a project. Now, as you can see, we have the details. So this in the model, you will notice that I am only showing the electrical parts of the project. The other elements like architectural and the structural are switched off, showing only the electrical portion of the project. In this particular video that I'm showing you is actually connecting to the database. So the database can be anywhere in the world. It can be accessed remotely. Now, once you have the access, then what happens is that all the information from the model is now exported to the SQL, and the data and the database can now be used in further by anybody who has the access to the database. Okay, so it's basically fast and very easy to export the data to a model. Now, but we can also extract the quantities from the model itself. So like this one, I'll show you how it is being done. Now, instead of counting all the lighting fixtures and measuring the length of wire in the CAD drawing, in this one, you can just set up a table wherein you select the element that you would like to see. Like in this one, you want to see the conduit, so you want to know the type, the size, and the length. So there are other properties of the conduit, but we are interested on that only. And if you will notice, very fast, all the sizes of the so-called conduits is there already, and so therefore you can also have it edited because this is now in metric. Okay, so you can have the total. You can also come up with display of the total length of the conduits. So it reflects, but this is in millimeters. So we can change that to what we call the in meters. Can be changed to that to that particular element. So can be in meters or any other dimension, but since we are using meters, can be converted to that. Okay. Now, in meters, it appears that there are some length that becomes zero because it is less than 1 meter. Now we can also adjust the format so that we can see the decimal places. In this case, we would like to do it in 3 decimal places like that. And so you see, it's already in 3 decimal places. So that's being measured in meters in 3 decimal places. Okay, so then we can see also the data in the database and maybe compare the result, the one extracted directly in the model and the one exported to the database. So you can have a database that can be accessed remotely anywhere in the world. In this case, we just want to access the model and then compare that. Let's see about conduits. So all the information in the conduits can be extracted like this. So you will notice that, but then we are interested only on the length. So we would like to see whether the length of all the pipes which have been exported to the model is the same as the one extracted in the model with respect to the database. So this one is in the model. Let's see whether we have the same value as what we have in the extracted data in the model. The lower one is the data in the database. Okay, so I think they are almost the same. Let's have this enlarged. So this is the data from the database, and this one from the model itself in the Revit. So if you will notice, this one is not rounded off, but if you round this off, so 1.034, so this is 2.264, so 2.264, and then we have 2.959. This one is 2.959. So the information in the model is equal to the information in the database, which we can use further in other things that we would like to do. Okay. Now we can also extract the information to the Excel. This is an example of extracting the information to Excel. Okay. So first we point the data to the existing SQL, and then eventually we have to know the server, of course, was the server that we are accessing. Once we are able to do that, then we can now go directly into the intended elements. Like in this one, we would like to know the the conduit. Excuse. Now we can now extract the information. So you will notice that we already have the length, details of the length of the conduit exported into the SQL, and if we are more comfortable in coming up with an estimate using Excel, then you will see that you can also do that. Okay, so we can also compare that with the information from the model itself in the authoring tool. Like this one, we are using the Revit, and so therefore you can see that it's the same. I'll show you. So this one is in the Excel we have 3948 meters, 0.23918. And then in the model, we have 3948.239. So we don't have the 18 because this one is rounding off to 3 decimal places. But we are more comfortable this time because we know exactly that the information that we have in the model is the same information in the database and also the same information in the Excel. If we are more comfortable of doing the estimate using the Excel. Okay. Now, but then we can also have a formatted bill of quantities in the model itself. So I'll show you that. Now, this one is the formatted already. Now, if we have a formatted bill of quantities in the Revit itself, whatever changes that we do in the model is reflected immediately into this bill of quantities. No need for us to recompute because we already have the value. Whatever changes is that in the model on a real-time basis will be reflected already into the bill of quantities. So these are samples. So you will see that that's basically very fast actually, and so therefore, as I have presented earlier about estimating using the BIM is an accurate one and faster, but of course the accuracy of the estimate depends on the level of details. As you have a much more detailed model, then you will have a much more accurate value in the estimate. So you see, it's actually easy. You do not have to count one by one in the CAD drawing because it's the information is already there and it can be extracted already. So like this one, and it is already formatted, and so therefore, this particular model will really provide us a good estimate, a more accurate estimate. And any changes that we do in the model is automatically reflected in our bill of quantities, which is already formatted. So like that. So okay, so this is basically about the formatted bill of quantities in the model. Okay. Now, these are basically the image of what has been presented in the Revit model. So if we have the costs, then we can already have the estimate. Quantities is there already like this. Okay, so those are just samples. Okay. And so therefore, with this, I'm finishing my discussion for question and answer portion. Now, this is just a brief discussion about the estimating, but it can be done actually with a workshop, but of course we need more time to do this. I'll stop sharing already. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Thank you very much, Engineer Florigo C. Varona, for that wonderful explanation of project estimating and costing using BIM. And let me ask our moderator first if there are questions